Okay, this question comes to us from JR from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he says his sons, a couple of young guys, they take the club back and they take it behind their hands. They still hit it pretty far and they hit big hooks. Well, that doesn't surprise me. There are some players, some, very, very few. If you watch the tour, there's hardly anybody who takes the club back where the club head gets behind their hands going back. The reason they don't do that, now you're fighting the momentum of the club. Almost everybody in this industry, whether they're talking about shallow your arms, right now it's big about shallow the shaft, which I don't necessarily agree with that. The shaft shallows, it shallows because your arm's shallow, not because you just take the shaft and shallow it. But if you wanted that to happen, the best way to do it would be to have the momentum of the club outside your hands so that as the momentum of the club's going up, it's constantly moving away from the target line. So now as it's constantly moving away from the target line, when you change directions, it helps to keep your right shoulder back, your right hip back, and it helps to shallow your arms into the ball. Now these kids that stand up and take the club back way to the inside, a lot of them do that, and then they drop the club and it comes way from the inside, and then they time the flip on the thing. Can they hit it a long ways? Yeah. They time that flip. I spent half my career doing that. The problem is, when you miss that shot a little bit, that's when you hit big, big duck hooks and big pushes right. Now, what's funny, if you start to get the club where it's not back here where you're having to time the flip, and you get the weight of the club out in front of you correctly, you actually can hit it further and more stable with more control with the club working correctly out in front of you. At first, they might lose a little distance. This game isn't about who hits it the furthest. It's about can you find it after you hit it. So if they can do that and stand up on a tight hole and pipe it every time, maybe we don't fix it. I haven't seen that happen. There's very, very few guys on tour who play from under the shaft plane. Even the ones who feel like they're shallow in the shaft, it doesn't get under the shaft plane. So I would suggest long term they learn how to work the club correctly and not get it under so far, because at some point in time, that's going to rear its ugly head, and the timing is very, very difficult. How do I know that? Because I played from there for about 5 years. So I've played that nightmare, and I can tell you where it's going to end up.